Hello. We are working exam 6A from Blackboard. So exam 6A problem 2 to be specific, and in this problem we're doing liability transaction, your long-term liabilities, your bonds, your notes payable, installment loans, things that are accruing interest over several years. And in this problem, there's a mixture of bonds and notes, so you don't want to get your interest rates and your bonds and your notes and all that confused. So read the problems really carefully when you see them. And it's just journalizing some transactions, so let's just jump right into it. On January 1st, borrowed cash on a note from King Banco. The note was $5 million, 10 years, 8%. Payments of principal of $500,000 and accrued interest each year. So this problem is maybe a little different from some of the homework problems, but it's telling you every single year you're going to come up with $500,000 cash and whatever interest has accrued. Alright, well that doesn't sound that hard. This first one is pretty easy. Borrowed cash, that means we got cash in and we've got a note payable at the bank. So let's just do that. The date is 1/1, right? And so we got cash in. Cash in is always a debit. All right, and we've got that note payable, King Bank, $5 million. All right, awesome. Done. Easy peasy. Issued a $50 million 30-year 5% callable bonds with interest payable quarterly, so every 3 months you pay 3 months worth of interest, July, October, January, and April. Received cash for the issuance, so cash coming in, so it's kind of like this, except for it's not a note payable, it's a bond payable, but same idea, $50 million. That's on April 1. Okay, so 4/1, we got cash, $50 million, and we got a bonds payable, $50 million. All right, yay. Okay, so we got a lot of cash. Good for us. But people are going to start wanting their interest and their money, so let's start paying that stuff back. July 1, paid the interest on the bonds in cash. Okay, so 3 months worth of interest, right? So, well, we'll just calculate that real quickly, maybe say down here. Interest is still principal times the rate times the time. And so in this case, on the bonds, we've got $50 million times the rate, 5%, right? So times the time, which is 3 months, so 90 divided by 360, or it's easier to go 3 divided by 12, but at any rate, so we're going to have to pay out 50 million times 5 times 3/12 is 625,000. All right, so that's our interest expense, and of course our cash going out. And that's on July 1. $625. All right, interest expense $625, cash going out $625. Pretty easy. Paid the interest on the bonds in cash. Oh, well, 3 months have gone by. We have 3 months more worth of interest on those bonds, so that hasn't changed. It's still $625. It's just the date has changed. It's now October 1st. Interest expense, that's still the same. It's still, we got to pay it with cash. Pay things with cash. It's still 3 months worth of interest is just always going to be $625 on these bonds. That's that. All right, what next? Paid the required principal and interest in cash to King Bank. All right, so $5 million is the principal. 8%, right? So we've had it out for a whole year. So principal times the rate times the time is 1, right? So this is annual interest. So just 5%, 5 million times 8%, 5 times 8 is 40, so that's 400,000, right? 5 million times 0.08 is 400,000. So that's how much interest we got to pay out in interest expense. But we also pay principal payments of 500,000. All right, so 400 and 500,000 is 900,000. That's how much cash we got to pay. So let's do that. That's 1231, right? And so we've got interest expense of, what did I say it was? Oh, 5 times 8 is 400,000. And then note, reducing the note, so note payable king, right? 500 is what we're paying. So of course we pay things with cash. And there we did that. Next, one last thing. Accrued the interest payable for the bond. Oh, okay. So we pay on January 1st, but it is the last day of the year. We have to think, well, what have we accrued? Well, we've accrued 3 months worth of interest, and we know what that is. It's $625,000. So it's interest expense, but we're not paying it out in cash yet. We will tomorrow, but it's not cash yet. It's payable today. Going on our balance sheet today as a payable. So on 12/31, we are going to add that interest expense of, we know what the amount is, 3 months is $625, right? And that's interest payable, so we got to add that liability. And then the next day, when we actually pay the cash out, we would do the get rid of the liability and pay the cash out. But that's not today. That's the last entry for problem 2. So good luck with that one. And remember, you may have something slightly different. Probably you'd have bonds and notes payable. I suppose we could have a callable bond, and you'd have to figure out how much to call it in for, something like that. But this should you should be able to handle this.